Hi friends, it's Becky and I am going to do a bracelet bash with you today. If you're new to my channel and you haven't seen these before, what I like to do is take a whole bunch of my bead boxes, my monthly subscription boxes, or things that I've gotten from a drop in a pop-up shop, and design a bracelet that is going to be the same basic design, but I'm going to use different beads and I'm going to use different materials, and sometimes I'll use different techniques with each one. And what I get is, based off that one design, it's wildly different results. And I have a lot to choose from this month. There are going to be 9 bracelets, so this is going to be a very long video. Get comfy. If you need to pause this and go grab a drink of water, put your feet up, go grab a project to work along with me while we go through this, go and do that. Because we'll be here. It's just going to be a nice long video where I'm going to make 9 bracelets with y'all using some of my monthly bead kits and bead boxes. Some of them will be May's because I haven't gotten June's yet. Some of them will be June's because I just got them. But we're going to do all of this together when we do that. And the bead boxes and bead subscriptions and bead drops that I'm going to be using are going to include the adornable elements. I think I'm going to do some with the 2-hole beads and some with the fire polish beads of the month. So I'm going to be using those. I'm also going to be using some beads from my curated collection. This is from Beads to Live By. And I might do the same thing where some of it will be with the 2-hole beads and some of it will be with the seed beads. So we'll have those. I'm also going to be using the Soft Flex Turtle Love kit that I still have some beads left over from that. So we'll be making a bracelet with those. I have my June dollar bead box that I haven't made anything with yet, and I'm excited about that. That's the one that has all of these lovely citrusy colors. It's going to be a lot of fun to create with, I think. So we're going to have that one. And the June bargain bead box, that's this one right here. And with this one, I have a lot of beads to play with, so it's going to be pretty easy for me to make a pretty awesome looking bracelet with this. I also have the May Sam's bead box. This was the Earth's Wonders bead box. This is the one that has like oceany but also foresty themes, and I still have a ton of beads left. I actually got some extras. I got shop extras. That's one of the reasons I have so many beads, is because I got some shop extras so that I could make more things with it. And I even got this 8-0 seed bead mix to go with it. So I'm going to be adding that to that part of my designing process. So that's the Sam's bead box. There's also the Jesse James Beads Magical Mystery Bead box. This is the one that is the Modern Bohemian box, and it has a whole bunch of really great neutral toned, calming, relaxing, spa day feel kind of beads that we're going to be playing around with. For that, I'm also going to be using some beads from the Gemstone Orphanage. This is the May Gemstone Orphanage box. I wanted to use some of these chip beads to make a bracelet to go with the necklace and earrings that I made yesterday. And I'll put a link to the necklace and earrings that I made in the description below so you can see how that goes together. And then this isn't a monthly box, but every month Neil does a little bit. He tries to anyway. Sometimes life gets in the way, but he does a drop in his pop-up shop that includes some gemstones. Sometimes it'll include some silver silk chains that are one-off, that are special just for the pop-up shop. And so this month being Pride Month, it's kind of rainbow themed. And so I grabbed some. I just got this yesterday, by the way, my shop, but look at these gorgeous rainbow gemstones. This is definitely becoming a bracelet with that. And this is some pearlesque chain that has rainbow tinsel underneath the wire, and it's going to be so great to have these together. So this is not from a bead box. It was from the pop-up shop for Silver, Silk, and More. I'll put a link to the pop-up shop if you wanted to go peruse some of those beads. There's a lot more in there than this. This is just what I want to use for this little bracelet bash, but it is a bead party. It is a bracelet party, and all of my beading friends are invited. So I'm going to just set this over here to the side so that we can move on from there, and let's get in a little bit closer. That was just my wide shot so you could see all of the bead boxes. Now let's get a little closer so we can draw out the design and what my ideas are for it. So my ideas basically for this is to have a 2-strand bracelet with like a lobster clasp or a toggle or something on one side, and then you'll have 1 strand of beads, probably bigger beads, some sparkly beads, maybe some focals, something that catches the eye, that makes it really interesting and fantastic to look at. And then a 2nd strand that is made up of either smaller beads or some silver silk chain. And then they're connected to a ring on the other side that the lobster clasp can connect to. And on that ring, we're going to have some charms or some dangles or just something to add a little extra interest. So it's just going to be a really simple design. Like I said, when I do these sorts of things, it can be a simple design or just a concept. And the fun part is using different beads for those and getting completely different and really interesting differences between each of the designs based on what bead boxes you're using. So one of the reasons I do that is because not everybody has the same bead boxes out there in the beading world. And I like just giving you permission to use what you have, to take some inspiration from what we're making and do something yourself with what you've got. So let's start picking out our beads for these things. I'm going to plan out 4 bracelets on this bead board, and then I got another one because they were on sale. I'm gonna plan out 5 on this one, and that way I can swap them out and I won't have to like clear off my bead board, and it won't be super cluttered or anything like that when we're going through it. So I think what I want to do on this one is grab out these morganite beads here. These are the cluster, or the nugget beads, and they will go with, this is what I made yesterday. Let me grab that off. They'll go really well with this that I made yesterday. I'm gonna get these guys out of here. And I think the chips will be my funky chunky strand. That's what I'm going to call it, is my funky chunky strand. That's the thing that's going to have a bunch of interest, a bunch of things to look at with that. I'm also going to be using these coin beads on my funky chunky strand. So we'll have the morganite and these guys all together. And then I want for my small strand to go ahead and use these round 4mm drucks, and I've got a few of these 4mm morganite beads that were left over from the necklace that I tossed in here because they're the same size, same shape, and I think they'll just add a little bit of interest to my smaller bead strand when I do that one. So that is the initial plan on that. For charms, I wasn't sure if I wanted to use one of the charms that came with this box or just make some little dangles to dangle and drop off of it. But I'm probably, if I do that, going to grab maybe a couple of these crackle agate beads just to make some, I think 5 would work, just to make a little cluster of dangles for that. So I'm gonna put these guys up here in their own little spot so that they can be ready to go when it's time for us to put these together. Just pulling out my beads and talking through my design process with you. So let's get these guys up here. And as far as hardware and what we're going to do with that, there was the accessories and the dress up bag that came with this bead box. Let me grab that out. Actually, I think they might be underneath a few things over here on the side. There they are. There we go. Now for this, I was thinking about using one of these bead frames as my little loop on the end. Seriously was thinking about that. And actually, I think that would look really cute. Also going to just grab out some of these daisy spacers as well. Either one of these bead frames that are the cloud shape or one of these links. I haven't decided which yet, so I'm going to pull both of these out, and when it's time to create with them, we will do that then. I have a stack of beading wire that we can use to bead along. It's just a bunch of different flavors of soft flex, so we'll grab those when we need to start stringing things. And I also have several different flavors of head pins to choose from for making my dangles. I'm ready as we go through here, and I think I've got a lobster clasp too that I can use for this. I'll need to grab that out in a minute. I think that was the one thing that I didn't bring with me. That's okay, because I have, where is it? It is not the one thing that I didn't bring with me. It is something that I have right here, right now. Let me pull this out. Here we go. Which end is up? Which end is down? Okay. It's one of these flower guys. Let's pull this lobster clasp out. Just making sure it works. I always like to make sure they work before I do that, and that'll work. All right. So that one is planned. That's going to end up being bracelet number 1. That's the Gemstone Orphanage May box. All right, let's grab, this will be number 2. It's my silver silk one, and for that I'm going to be stringing these guys along on one strand, and I'll have these for the next strand. I've got some connectors here for this, and we get a lobster clasp and a ring, and I think I just want a simple ring for this one, like this. So I'm going to put that one there. So I'm going to have my beads strung. This will be my silver silk one. And let's make some dangles using, this is just from my bead stash. I've got some crystal with this like multicolor finish on half of it. Fire polish beads. Let me just pick out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, maybe 6, maybe 7. We'll just make some dangles with those, and we will attach those to the rest of it. I think that that is going to be perfect to go with our rainbowy theme. All right, so we've got the silver silk one planned. Let's get our Sam's bead box planned. So for this one, I think for my chunky, funky one, I'm going to be using some of these larger, like cubey beads with a couple of these guys in between. And move out of the way. You know what? I'm gonna grab these 2 color guys, these rondelles. We're gonna do a strand with these guys. And I think I'm gonna have a couple of these leaves for my dangles. Like that. All right, yeah. So we're gonna definitely be blue and greening it for that one. And for my small bead strand, I'm going to use these 8/0 seed beads that were extras in the box. I would like to grab some copper rings. Do I have any copper ones? I know I have some somewhere to go with this because we are all coppery tones. I grabbed a bunch of rings to pull from before I started this. Let's just grab one of these. These are like sort of hammer effect. They're antique copper, but that's gonna be good enough for me. And I've got a lobster clasp. There we go. That's going to be good. So that's 1, 2, 3. One more for this side. Because once I get these planned out, then I can set my bead boxes, put them back on the shelf so they're not in the way anymore. And we're not taking up too much space on my desk, so I'm not knocking things over. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my curated collection. This was from Beads to Live By. I don't think I'm going to use the 15/0s in any of this, but I may go ahead and use the 8, 11, and 6/0s for one of my bead strands. And then for my other bead strand, we'll just string along some of our 2-hole beads. We'll just pop any of our seed beads between them to make them fit better. I think those 2 will be just fine. That'll be for the second strand. We'll have a 2-hole bead strand 1. And then for this one, let me see, do we want silver, copper, or gold? We've got some gold, some copper. on this. So maybe mixed metals would be good on that one. How about if we do a hoop that is just maybe a smaller size hoop. They don't all have to be like the same size of loop. Right. And I'll make some drops with my seed beads. That'll be easy. That'll be super easy. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 planned on this one. Let's swap out and start planning out our next 5 bracelets. We're still in the planning stages. And I'm going to use my other bead board. These were on sale, so I grabbed another one because it just makes it so much easier to be able to like plan it out on one, and then if I need the space for another project, I can grab the next one. All right, now let's grab, I'm definitely going to be using these brass ones for my drops. This one already has a loop and it's in its toggle clasp, so I'm going to use that. We'll make some drops and dangle them from on there. And so for my chunky, funky strand, I'm going to grab some of this sea glassy looking stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guys. Oop. And I'm going to intersperse them with some of these turtles. And I think that's, I mean, is that going to be too long? Long enough? We'll have to check the size. That might be long enough. We'll check the size when we get there. But I think those guys will be for one strand, and then for the second strand, we're going to have some smaller beads. It's kind of a plain accent strand, and so I'm going to grab these bicones. And some of these lava beads as accents, like that. I think that's going to work out great. Okay, yes, perfect. I don't need to add anything else. So that is planned. I'll be bracelet number 5. Let's move this out of the way. Now, dollar bead box and dollar bead bag. All right, now for our chunky funky guys, I'm gonna definitely lean hard into this citrusy theme, and I'm gonna grab these yellow coin beads and these orange guys. We're gonna probably spread these around. Like that. And I think I want these seed beads, these ones for my second strand. They will be very pretty. Let me think about what I want for my hoops and my drops. I might just do some drops with more of these seed beads, or we might do these guys as drops. You see them? They're kind of lime or lemon shaped. What if there were a couple of them as dangles on a bracelet? All right, let me just set this guy over here and put these right here. Because we are leaning into citrus flavors for this. Citrus colors, I should say. And for my loop, you know what I might do is go ahead and use a little hoop like this. You can use quick links, you can use any of those. I'm going to stick that right there and grab me a lobster clasp. That's going to be project number 6. Okay, that's 6. All right. Yeah, after I get them out, move them out of the way. Did I already plan out the... No, I didn't. All right. That's another reason to move them out of the way so that I don't double up anything. All right, so next, let's grab the Jesse James beads, the Magical Mystery Bead Box one. And I think for this one, I'm going to use this bead frame instead of a hoop. It's square shaped, but I can attach 2 strands here, and then we can have a clasp that grabs on there, and I can attach some dangles to it. And that'll be really fun to have it be just a different geometric shape. I think what I want for my chunky funky strand is going to be maybe we want some wood beads for our chunky funky strand. Right, and then for my second strand, maybe I will go with these rondelles. And more of those wood beads for our smaller, shorter strand. We're just going to go with some natural looking wood grainy things. It's going to be fun. Like that. Yes. I'm going to just reach in here though, because if this is going to be brass on that, I'm going to reach in and grab some of these brass spacers, because I think that they'll go nice between some of these smaller beads. probably. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot. All right. Now I just need a clasp and maybe a dangle. How about a couple of these leaves as dangles? Like that. Yes. Yes, perfect. I like that. I like that idea a lot. In fact, maybe, yeah, no, that's good, good, good. Let's get ourselves a brass color clasp to hook onto there. It's all wood tones. All right. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 8 and 9, so 2 more. I hope I counted right. Yes, I did. Next is our turtle love, guys. And so for this one, I am definitely going to, for my funky, chunky bracelet, grab out some of these bigger beads. One, 2, 3, 4. Let's put a focal in there, and then have maybe a couple like that. Will that work? I think that might work. And then for my other strand, I'm just going to grab these fire polish beads, these two-toned ones. And some of these turquoise ones. And then for our dangles, I'm just going to use these seahorses. These guys are going to be my little dangles from my guy. And because these are gold, I'm going to grab a gold ring. And a not that gold. Let's go with this yellowy guy. That's gonna match better. There we go. So we've got bracelet number 8 planned. It's gonna be a fun one. All right, and then our 9th one, that's going to be with the adornable elements beads of the month stuff. Let me pull that guy out. Now I just unboxed this one, so I haven't had a lot of time to think about any of the options with this, but it does come with a little toggle clasp. We've got a heart toggle, so let's use those for, it's not a ring necessarily, but I can attach some dangles to it. And I've got my seed beads. These will probably pull out one of the colors, maybe two, to go with this. But for this one, I wanted to have my sort of my funky, chunky strand be with some of these 2-hole beads. Especially, oof, these guys. I love them so much. Look at that. So if we've got these in there, and then I think that these gem duos will make good in-betweener sort of guys, and then I can pop some of these darker iris beads in between them as spacers, and that'll be one strand. And then for the second strand, because we've got some kind of red, like dark maroony type colors in this one, I'm going to go for the darker red fire polish beads. And I'm just going to go with both of these together for my second strand. So that's the plan with my Beads of the Month club. So I'm ending up using all 3 clubs in the same project: the fire polish, the 2-hole beads, and my seed beads, and getting some mileage out of my add-on. All right, I'm gonna move these over here, and now we can get started putting these together. Since I've already got this one out, I'm gonna go ahead and just work from right to left on here, maybe from left to right. I don't know. Let's figure that out. Yeah, let's go from. Let's start over here with our bargain bead box, guys. I'm gonna move my stuff that I've already sorted out of the way so that we're just focusing on what I am currently working on. All right. Let me decide on my beading wire, and I think this bone color is going to be great for that because it's kind of like sand colored. And I should have enough for 2 strands on here. Let's see if we need to add or subtract any beads from this design, because I think this will end up being long enough. Also, if you're curious about this bracelet design, I used some curated collection beads for this. It's 2-hole daggers and 11 seed beads and some memory wire, and I have a video for that. I'll put a link to that video in the description if you would like to see that one. But right now we're concentrating on these bracelets. Right. Let's see if this is a good size for a bracelet for me, because I'm making these for me. And it looks like I'm probably going to need to add some beads to this, either to either end, probably to either end. So let me grab my these guys? No, not them. How about just some more of these? Especially if I can put them in between these guys as spacers too. All right. So this is how it's going to be for the rest of these. If you guys are sitting comfortably, you can go through this. So we've got our beading wire, we've got all these guys. I'm going to just make a couple of drops with these. And to do that, I'm going to need some tools. So I have some chain nose pliers, some round nose pliers, some flush cutters, and then when it comes time to do some crimping for my beading wire, which is all over the place. I just knocked it over on my desk. I've got some crimping pliers for that. That's my magical crimper. It's my favorite way of crimping. But right now, let's go ahead and make our little drops. Using these guys, I'm going to bend over the top of my pliers while I'm holding onto my guy. That gives me some room down here to wrap my wire after I make my loop. I'm going to grab the top of this right above where the bend is, push the wire around the round part of those pliers, and then take the end and wrap down towards my bead. Cut the excess off after I've finished making my dangles. I think 3 dangles will do. I'm not going to need an excessive amount of dangles. But I am going to chain them with each other. So I'm going to attach the first dangle that I made to this one before I wrap it. I'll hold on to this while I am wrapping that. And this way, I can use a jump ring to attach them to the loop, or I can attach it to this one. Yeah, let's do it that way. Right, so I'm holding it, bend it over the top. For this one, I want it to loop all the way around my ring. So I'm going to use kind of a thicker part of my round nose pliers so that I have a larger loop, because it'll just fit better that way. So now that I've got my loop formed, I'm going to add 2 things to it. One will be my ring for the toggle clasp. Get on there. And then the other one will be this loop from the dangle. And yeah, it looks a little funky because I've got all of those ends of my wire sticking out. I am going to go in and clip them as soon as I'm done wrapping this wire dangle around. All right. So now I can do some clippity clipping. Clip. I'm probably going to do dangles first for the rest of these. I just went right into stringing on that one and then realized that I wanted to do that one first. So now I've got my little dangles dangling from my loop, and I'm going to be ending up attaching one end of my wire to this loop here once I've determined that it's long enough. So I'm going to put on, let's do just three of these guys all by themselves. These lava stones that have that antique bronze dusting on them. And then we'll put on our nugget, the lava bead, and then the ceramic turtle. A lava bead, a nugget, a lava bead, a turtle, so I'm just using the lava beads as spacers and adding a little extra to the ends, but this still gives me my chunky, funky strand. Here we go. And here's the thing is, if that's too long, then I can take some lava beads off the ends. Right, now I need 3 guys on this end. Then we're going to check our length. That adds about an inch, so I'm going to take off 2 of the lava beads, and I'll remember to take 2 of those off on the other side after I clip this. And let me grab my crimper and those crimps that were right here. That whole stack of crimps. Oh, there we go. All right, so I've got, I don't have any bronze ones, but I do have some gold colored ones, so I think gold will work best for that. Why don't I do that one? So we put the crimp on first. I'm going to talk you through the first crimp, but then not for the rest of them, because I think one time should be enough for this video. And a lot of you have watched other videos that I've done before, so you've seen me do these crimps. But if you're new to my channel, you haven't seen this, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. These are soft flex crimps. They are my favorite crimps. This is a soft flex wire. It is a 0.19 medium beading wire, which is the right size to work with for the magical crimpers. And the magical crimper is a little bit different because it is just a little concavity inside the crimping tube. And when you center your 2x2 crimp tube in here and press down, see how you've got those corners that are kind of sharp? If you turn it, make sure it's centered, press down again, turn it, press down. You just keep going at it from different angles. What happens is that round part in the inside will round out those sharp edges and leave the middle like a smooth little bump, a smooth ball of crimp. So you don't have to use any crimp covers with it, and it's not going to scratch your skin while you're wearing it. And that is one of the main reasons why I like using these. Also, I'm good at doing them. It does take some practice, like learning any new skill. But once you've got it, you've got it. And it's just one of those things that it's like second nature once you've been doing it enough. So I also find with these, I don't have to leave part of my end of my crimp or of my wire. The crimp will hold it even if I cut it right next to it. So that is the magical crimper. I'm going to snip the end of this wire here. Take off these 2 extra guys. Double check my size. Just make sure that this is gonna not be too small for my wrist when I'm done with it. Yeah, that's gonna be perfect once I get my other end of my toggle on there. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and crimp this end onto here, and then I can start stringing my second strand. Like this by itself, I think would be a perfectly fine bracelet, but that's not what I designed. That's not what the plan was. So I'm going to add a second strand to this. Just gonna grab this guy here. All right, now for the second one, you're going to want to make sure that there's a little bit of space between the crimp bead and your next bead so that the side of your crimper can get in there, because that's important for being able to center that crimp bead into your magical crimpers. And like the first time you do it, if it doesn't look like a little ravioli, that's okay. Just readjust it, put it in there in another angle, and go around it a couple more times. Just, you'll get a feel for it the more you do it if you choose to go this route. All right, so this is the length that I'm going to want to string to for this next strand. These are those matte crystal bicones, and more of these lava beads, and I think the lava beads are again going to be spacers for this one, and I think I'm going to do 3 crystal bicones and a lava bead, and then 3 crystal bicones and a lava bead, and just keep doing that until it is the right length. 1, 2, 3. And I think there might be more of these in the box. If not, that's okay, because I can just add more lava beads. See, like that. Then one more. I like doing like groups of 3 or groups of 5 beads when I do some things like this. I also just like alternating beads, so it's one and then the other and then one and then the other. Sometimes I'll try to frame beads in the middle of a strand. It all depends on what I'm feeling for my mood when I am putting some beads together. So about twice as much. Yeah, it's about halfway through. Good thing I have more lava beads than this. Although, one of the drawbacks of these lava beads is because they've got the pock marks. Those look like holes. And so I keep trying to string into the pits on the lava bead instead of through the hole that goes all the way through. So it's just a little awkward. That's okay. Because what isn't? I'm a little awkward. Sometimes I'm a lot of awkward. And that's okay. I just like making things. I'm just so excited to make a bunch of bracelets with y'all today. You're gonna have a great time with this. And in case you're wondering, Ellen and Natalie are hanging out with my son in their room so that they don't have to be distressed by me sitting down and making beads all afternoon. Because you know who they are. They would be. Ellen and Natalie are my dogs if you are new to my channel. And Ellen likes to make it known that she would like some attention now. I believe this is going to be exactly long enough. And I am so pleased at how that is just working out. So pleased, look at that. Perfect. All right, let's get this crimped on here. And I'm gonna do that by doing the same thing as before. And I'm just gonna go through this same loop on my clasp with my second strand. And I still have this attached to the spool, so it's not in danger of coming off. If it wasn't attached to that spool, I would probably have a bead stopper on that to keep it from going too far. And with this, I'm just gonna slide a couple of these guys on here. You don't have to, but you know, sometimes I like having them through here like this. Or just one. One is fine. One is fine. Like I said before, I'm not going to be walking you through my crimping for all of these because there are 9 different bracelets that I'm going to be making, and I will probably be crimping most of them. So we're not going to belabor how to too much with this. And I love this. Look at how beachy. Look how beachy that is. Gorgeous. All right, I'm pulling that off. There's a little bit of adhesive. I'm just pulling that off the wire so it'll slide through here a little bit easier. On there. Okay, let's make sure we're turned correctly before we put this on. All right, and so it's going to go on that end. That's very scooching that down a little bit more. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. All right, and all I was doing there was just kind of adjusting where and how much of this loop there was going to be so that these strands would be close to equal in length, equal enough that on the wrist you'd never be able to tell. All right. So now we've got a beachy theme bracelet with a dangle and 2 strands and a circle. That's what I planned, and that's what happened. First one is done, and honestly, I love this so much. This is like, whew, man, sometimes you have to sit there and admire your work. It's sort of important when you're creative to be able to look at what you did and say, I did that. I did that. I am certainly proud of myself for doing that. And I think this is one of them. One of those that is just going to be probably a favorite. I'm probably going to get a lot of wear out of this one. But let's move on to the next one. We're going to have our citrusy guys. Set that over there, and we're going to pull these guys out because this is the one with our dollar bead box. And these are just some great summery flavor kind of beads that we get to play around with. Let me grab some head pins. And I'm going to go ahead and do my dangles and attach it to my hoop first. Like I said, with the other one, I kind of started off a different way and then decided, no, let's do our dangles first. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that also with this one. I'm going to do our dangles first. I'm also going to grab those guys out of here because they are going to be our second strand. And this is going to be all citrusy sherbet flavors. Just love it. It's going to look delicious. And I'm not normally like a citrusy color wearer, but this is going to be on my wrist. It doesn't have to be right next to my face, which is where it would make me look sick, as if it was right next to my face. So it's going to be actually pretty great on this. And I think for this one, I am going to grab my, where did it go? One of my tools that I've gotten recently that has been made it a lot easier to do dangles is this. It's a one-step looper. So I can just put my guy right in there. Bend that over. It makes a little loop, but it didn't finish it all the way because it fell out because I had it at a weird angle. Sorry about that. There we go. That made a little bit of a loop. So let's one-step looper this one. Okay. I have sort of small-ish hands, so I have to spread them really wide to do this. I'm going to hold this like this just for this one because it's really awkward for me to hold it that way for the camera. But you put it through the thing, there's a little loop here on the back, and then when you do it like that, it should hold it in there and put it over there, but it's shooting things off in different directions and it's not doing the loop. So I'm probably going to switch to using these tools since that one is not holding on to it. It's like popping out of there, probably because of that. What I'm gonna do actually, let's swing this open and attach this dangle to it. I'm gonna chain these again like I did the other one so they cascade. And I'm gonna bend over the top with my pliers, cut off all but 1 centimeter of the wire. See, these are the multiple steps that you go through that the one-step looper is supposed to get eliminate, but it's being a little weird on me. So, and then you use your round nose pliers to make a little loop. And I'm gonna just attach this to the yellow loop. Attach it to the yellow dangle. Close that. And then 2 more of these. Another yellow one, and I'll attach it to that green one that I just made. And then we'll do another green one and attach it to this yellow one. Attach it to the green loop. Go. And then this one, I'm going to make the loop a little bit longer because I'm going to also, well, actually it doesn't need to be that much longer for this ring, does it? Nope, nope, it doesn't need to be that much bigger. I can just do it right there. And I just know that the side of my finger measures about 1 centimeter there. It's just something that I've learned about myself. And that's why I didn't measure it, is because I am measuring it against a body part that I know how long it is. So I'm going to swing that open, put this ring on first, and then this yellow bead, and then I'll have myself a little cascading citrus dangle for my bracelet. I'm gonna move these guys out of the way, and I'm gonna grab this white soft flex because I think that that will be perfect with our citrusy guys. Another one that might be good would be black, I think. But let's get these little lozengey looking guys, ones that look like a creamsicle. And then our coin beads. I'm just going to alternate these and then check the length and see where I am with it. Because it's possible that I'm going to need to add some beads to either side. If that's the case, then I'll need to make some decisions which beads I'm going to add to either side. Right. Let's see. Yep, I'm going to need to add some beads. So let's see what my options are. I could add some of these lemon yellow drucks to the ends with some of these orange ones, just kind of continue the alternating of those, or those lemon yellow drucks with some of these rondelles. I think the rondelles might actually be the best option. These are a lemonade-y color. But this will continue on that whole creamsicle vibe that we've got going. If we do that way. 2, 3, 4, 5. Couple more. Just cut this wire here so that I can add to the other side. And this is where I was saying that I would use a bead stopper on the other end of that wire. I'm going to do that here so that I can add some more beads to this end. This is just going to be yellows and oranges, and then we're going to have green on the next one. Oh, that is just a really weird looking cut. That's not going to go into any beads nicely. There we go. That's a much nicer cut. And we're going to keep in mind too that this is going to add about an inch of space between the clasp and the rest of the bracelet. So these two ends don't need to meet, but I also don't want there to be too much space between them, because it's only going to be about an inch of difference. Maybe with the clasp, 1.5 inches. Those two are in the wrong order. I will fix that before I, oh yeah, that's going to be definitely enough space. That is going to be perfect. All right. Now, let me swap these two around so that they are not awkward. Actually, am I supposed to have that? Let me see. I'm just checking to see if that was one too many or not enough beads. That's going to be enough. Okay. Now let's add one more. Just a teeny one. They're just these little 4mm beads. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Right. Now, I'm going to need to put a little jump ring on here to attach these two. Two. Because having 2 wires attached to that little connection point is going to be problematic. I'm just going to keep this jump ring container out here for our future endeavors. And get some crimps out. For the crimping. Crimpation, crimpitude, crimpatico. We're just going to go through the crimp tube for this. That's going to be just fine. Perfect. I hope y'all are having a nice weekend. It is June. It is summertimey. It's been getting real hot where I'm at, but I've got air conditioning, so I am okay. Again, it's one end, and then the other end is going to be attached to this. I love it. I love it. I want a sorbet after doing this, or a creamsicle. Yeah, creamsicle would be nice. There we go. Let's get this open and get that jump ring on there, or on the jump ring open, and get the lobster clasp on there, because it's not going to clasp very well if the lobster clasp isn't attached to the bracelet. Just pro tip. Attaching a clasp is sort of one of those essential jewelry making skills and tasks that you go through. And like with all of these, I think just a single strand is probably going to be just fine. But I'm adding an extra one. We're adding a second strand. So let's stretch this guy out so I know how long to make my second strand. And I think these will all fit on there. If they don't, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop one of these pearl beads, like every 5 beads or something, to make it long enough. But let's see if it'll be long enough just with these. Oh, no, not the pearl beads. Why don't I use some of these? It'll connect them together a little bit more if I use some of these between them. You know what? In fact, I'm not even going to wait and see if it's long enough just with these. I'm just going to do 5 fire polish and a direct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I think that that's going to probably look better than just a single strand of the fire polish, although that would look great. I just don't know that that is going to be long enough. You know what I mean? 2, 3, 4, 5. And a dragon. I've got so many beads on my mat, or tools on my mat, kind of getting in the way. So I'm just going to move them out of the way. You're allowed to do things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I like having a little pattern. It makes my brain happy to see patterns. I think most humans are like that. We love seeing patterns. It is probably one of the reasons why we see patterns in places where there actually aren't any. Like, we kind of make them up. It's one of those weird things about our brains. Just doing things like that, because, you know, it's just what we like. It makes us happy. That's a little over halfway, but I love these opaque green lime colored guys that have this little shiny bit on them. They've got that partially AB, so there's just a little bit of sparkle with them. I love that so much. Right, so where are we at? Is it going to be one more group of 5? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oof. is almost just too short for it. I think if I added another of the lemon drucks on each end, or maybe two of them, in fact. Two of them? Yeah, let's just do two of them on each end. Or maybe just one on each end. Let's see. Nope, two on each end. All right, I'm going to crimp this end to my ring. And then after I cut my wire, I'll add my extra 2 drucks on this end and crimp it to my jump ring. Okay, I'm going to make my loops a little bit smaller than the other one because this strand otherwise would be just a little teeny bit longer, but it's just not long enough with only one of my little lemonade beads. That's what they make me think of, is lemonade. They're that color. Right. So let's get this cut. Yeah, you know what, that's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, no, I don't need to add these extra 2 on the other end. I should have added that on this end. You know what, I still can! I still can. Wait, no, that's not right. Okay, good. Whew. It was turned wrong, but still, at the same time, I think. I think I'm going to need to restring that, actually. Or just have one. I'm just going to do one on this end. That's it. I don't need 2. 2 would be too long. But just having one or having none is a little too short. Evening things out. No, actually, I'm going to need to restring this and just replace all of those but one. So that's basically the same order. Restringing it is not going to take as long as stringing it in the first place. But yeah, I will, when I upload this, I'll make a community post on YouTube with an individual photo of each of these bracelets, so y'all can see how they all turned out. I might have to break it up into several different posts because I don't know if I can do more than 4 photos. I don't know if they let me do all 9 photos, we can do it that way, but hold on. Did I miscount on one of these sections? I may have to restring this again with without that druck on either end. Let me see how long this is going to make it. Actually, I know exactly how long that's going to make it. I put 3 instead of 5 in that one section, which I guess it's kind of a good thing that I had to restring this, because otherwise I just would have gone about making this with the wrong number of fire polish beads, and then I would have been really sad about it. Well, not really sad, because you know everybody makes mistakes, but I would have said, "Ah, Becky, what'd you do?" at the end of it. So let's get these strung on. I bet one of you caught that. I bet one of you saw me putting on 3 instead of 5, and you were like, "No, Becky, no." And then I didn't hear you because you're in the future and I'm in the past, and time doesn't work like that. Also, distance doesn't work like that. I'm not in your house. I'm just on your TV or your internet or your phone, wherever you are watching this from. I know some of y'all like to watch YouTube on your televisions, and some of you like to watch them on your tablet or on your computer. I have a really nice monitor on my computer that I like to watch YouTube on. It means that I can see things pretty close, and it looks really nice like that. I also like to watch on my tablet because I can take my tablet around with me while I'm doing stuff. Like if I'm cooking, sometimes I'll put on a little video and I'll stick my tablet on a little tablet stand so it doesn't get food on it, and I'll just watch somebody making something while I'm making something. Oh man, it's a lot of fun like that. I can't believe I miscounted. I mean, I can believe I miscounted because hello, this is who I am. But I was just gonna attach it and not worry too much about symmetry on it, and then all right. That is perfect. See, look what happens when you count the right amount of beads, Becky. Look what happens when you count the right amount of beads. Instead of leaving off your correct amount and thinking you can make up with it by adding extra beads, you should have just done the first numbers in the first place. Right, let's get that crimped on there. And again, when you're doing your crimping, just make sure your crimp is centered into your crimper. So it works way better when it's centered. All right, y'all. I love this one too. I think, are they all going to be my favorites? is it possible to have all of them be my favorites? Because I just, look at that. That is so perfect. So perfect. And again, I think that meets my brief. That is what I wanted. I wanted a 2-strand bracelet with a little loop on the end. All right. Next, a wooden bracelet with, instead of a loop, a square. And then these guys. All right, and I said for my dangles, I wanted these leaf beads. Oh boy. You know what I need? I need some head pins for these. And I think this brass one will work. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And these are ones that we can do the wrapped loops on. So I'm just gonna make my leaf drops. And this first one, I'm going to go ahead and wrap without attaching to anything. Because it's going to be at the bottom of the stack. Second one, I am going to make sure the first leaf is attached to it before I wrap it. Because we're going to be cascading our drops. And this third one, I'm going to make the loop just a little bit bigger than the other two. Bring that across. And I'm going to attach it to my, it's just a metal bead frame, but I'm not using it as a bead frame. It's going to be a connection point instead. Oh, let me attach these guys to it as well. Just going to go through one of those loops. All right. And that is done. Get that clipped. Yeah, I love that. And this one is going to be my chunky funky fella. And I think what I want to do for this is not going to be long enough just by itself, and I'm already going to be using all of these for that section. I'm going to grab from the bead box these came in, which was the Modern Bohemian. Grab a couple of these guys to kind of just sandwich in here like this to increase my length on that end. Maybe we'll also put this guy in there. Yep. Like that a lot. All right. Got this little cubed beaded bead in here too. And then this faceted guy right there in the center. And I think that's gonna bring both of these together a little bit more, because then we've got the wood plus some faceted sparkly guys over here. And I think having some sparkly guys on this chunky strand is gonna go really well with that too. So I'm gonna use the antique brass beading wire for this strand. And I'm just going to start popping these guys on here and see how long it gets. No. Big guys in the middle. Like that. Yeah, okay. I think that just needs a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Not too much more, just a little bit more. So let's do those beads. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. That's gonna work. That's gonna work. That's gonna work. Yeah, because the this is gonna take up about an inch, probably another inch and a half. So yeah, that's gonna be just long enough. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's get this guy attached to that end, and I'm gonna use these copper because we've got so many warm tones in a lot of these, and we're using some copper leaves. I'm gonna use the copper crimps for these. crimp one end to this over here. Mm-hmm. I'm just sliding some of those long beads over the end so I don't have to cut it. And obviously that's not going to slide on like that. It bounced away. I'm going to have to pull out another one. Luckily, we've got plenty. I love that we have so many little beads in this magical mystery bead box, because sometimes you don't get enough to be able to make these sorts of things with. And I love that we get so many in this one. Just double checking that this is going to fit, because if not, I'll just add a little something extra to it. Sorry, I'm off camera right now because I have to hold it next to my body to see if that will work. And yes, perfect. Sometimes these copper ones can have kind of a thicker wall to them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just makes it so it's a little bit trickier to get the wire through. Twice. Ooh, there we go. You know what I need to do? I need to get a jump ring for this, because I can't put two. Well, I mean, I can, but it's going to be crowded and awkward. So I want a jump ring for my lobster clasp. Let me pull this guy out. Oh, wrong one. Wrong end. There we go. Just going to make my loop, and then I can attach the jump ring to the loop. See a loop. Jump ring. I'm just wiggling that to kind of make sure that when I swing it back, it will swing closed and not be falling apart. All right. Lobster clasp, and then that loop that I just made in my beading wire. See, if you're not ready with your jump ring, you can always attach one to a loop after you've already made it. And that is the first part of this bracelet. And just like with the other, it looks fantastic just on its own without the second strand. We're going to add a second strand for the lulls. I think what I want to do with this one, is this going to be enough beads for this? That's the question, isn't it? Like, when I was pulling them out and digging them out, I thought for sure that would be enough beads to make a strand all the way across. And it is going to be enough, I think. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. How many of these do I have? I'm going to count them out real quick and see how many of them I have. And then we'll see how I'm going to divide them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Whoops, 17 of them. Oh, am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 17. All right, so maybe we have one on each end, and then some groups of 5 in the middle. So we'll have like 5 of them here. And then I think I want 3 of these. And then another group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 2, and then 1. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that might be a little too long. Let's take those out. That, I think, no, we're going to leave these in. The group of 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Just there in the middle of it. Yeah, let's string this on. See how long it is. And if we need to restring it, we can. Four, 5. Spacer. 3 of these guys. I might need to add more wood beads. Wouldn't be a terrible thing, I don't think. Yeah, let's do some more wood beads. How about... How about if we do 4 here and then 3? Okay, yes, perfect. Adding 2 more wood beads to that end would definitely... Yes, all right. So these 2, I'm gonna add 1 more here and then another one there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this side crimped on here before I cut my wire and readjust this side to fit better. Come on, buddy. Go all the way through. All right. Ugh. Let's grab a different crimp. I'm just hanging them so that I can judge the length and what's necessary. All right. So this is the part where I'm going to add another wood bead here. And then get these guys back on here. Yes, perfect. I need to grab a different crimp because that one did not like having 2 strands of this wire going through it. Let's go through that jump ring. And back down. Through the crimp. Oh, wow, is this one gonna be a... Okay. Phew. Do you see how so far they are just wildly different from each other? Even though it's the same basic kind of design, they are so different. And I love that. We are down 3. If you need to take a break, please feel free. It has been 2 hours since we started this. And we have 6 more to go. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to split this up into 2 videos because we've already spent so much time just making these. I mean, we took a lot of time starting out. So I'm going to split this into 2 videos. We're going to upload probably this one, and then we'll do the next one probably tomorrow because it has been a couple of hours and I'm going to need to take a break soon. So let's do one more together. We'll do 4 for this one, and then we'll do the last 5 in the second video. So this will be a 2-parter because you know what? Sometimes you gotta have a sequel. Yay, I love this one so much. Look at that. It's like the warm wood and then it's like the sparkly crystal. I love this. That's this was the Jesse James beads, the Magical Mystery Bead Box. Ooh, I need to cut off my excess wire over here. Let's do that. There we go. Such a great bracelet. Yeah, I'll work on that in a little bit. All right, so number 4 for tonight, for today, for this one, is going to be using the Soft Flex design kit that we just unboxed recently. And this Soft Flex design kit, it sold out so fast. So there are not any more of them available. I don't know if they even have the bead mix still available. Sometimes if they've got extras of that, they put them on the site. But those I think might have also sold out. So it was just a very, very, very popular bead mix. And the Soft Flex design kits are not bead subscriptions, so when they release them, it just depends on how fast they go. Sometimes they'll still have extra design kits left a month or two later, but again, if it's a really popular one, it will get all used up and all bought before you know it. I think I want to use some turquoise color wire for this one. It'll show through some of our see-through guys on here, and I'm going to grab some jump rings, and I'm just going to attach the jump rings to each of my little seahorses and then attach them to this ring. So I'm not going to have to make any dangles, I'm just going to have to attach them. So let me grab those jump rings and we'll get our seahorses attached to our ring. And I think 4. Let's do 4 because I'm going to need one for my lobster clasp. There we go. So yeah, I was overly ambitious, but you know what? We're going to still do it. We're going to do all 9. It's just not all going to be in the same video. So probably do a little bit of a recap at the beginning of the next video, just so you can see my design process idea a little bit when we do that one. But for the most part, we're just going to jump right into making the last 5 bracelets for this bracelet bash. It's going to be a sleepover. Right. So we have 1 seahorse and then 2 seahorses, and again I am just sort of doing them in a cascading manner so that we're linking to the one below and the one above when we open up our jump rings, just like we did with the dangles that we made. I just don't have to make these dangles, I'm using charms. Alright, so for this one we're going to put the seahorse on, and then we're going to put that jump ring on, and then we're going to put this ring on, so that one is going to connect to all 3 of them. The dangle, the ring below, and the ring above. There we go. So now I've got my little seahorse danglies. That is what we're going to be attaching our guys to for that. All right, so for this we've got starfishes going like that. And then one of these guys, it's going to be rondelli. One of these guys, and then another rondelle, and that is not going to be long enough. So let me go grab some more beads out of the design kit. All right, this might be long enough. I'm gonna string it and see. I do have about 6 inches. That's gonna be good because this will give me another 1.5 inch-ish. There's also, I can pad it a little bit with some of these guys, like that. All right, I'm gonna try it at this length, see how I like it. And if we need to make it longer, we can make it longer. If we need to make it shorter, we can make it shorter. But yeah, I am loving all of the oceany theme boxes. This month they have just really made my day. I wonder if everybody's starfishes had the tips broken off, or if it's just these ones. I mean, they're both broken off, so maybe it's just the way that they are made. Maybe they are meant to be like that, with a little blunted, jagged edge. All right. So there's my chunky, funky strand. Oh, that's going to be just right once we get that loop on and all of that fun stuff. So let me grab some, what is it called? The thing, crimp. Grab some crimps. What did I do with my gold crimps? Because like I just had those. There they are. And we're going to get one end attached to the ring. Clippers. Let's do this side. Yeah, this will be it for tonight. I will finish up the rest of it tomorrow in a separate video. But we still need to finish this before I can go. Right. Actually, just gonna double check the length of this. Sorry, I'm off camera again because I'm holding it up to my chest while I'm seeing how that fits. That is definitely going to be long enough for a loop and a lobster clasp to be attached to it. That lobster clasp is pretty closed, so I don't need to open and close it. I can just go ahead and loop. Well, I'm gonna have to open and close it anyway for the clasp part, so I'm just gonna make my loop first and then add that to it later after I get this on here. Go. All right, one last strand to string after I get these guys on there. I'm very excited about these. Get this guy on. Closed. All right, and now this is the length that I'm going to be stringing to with that. And I'm going to be using these guys. Now I think my limiting factor, I have a lot more of these turquoise pyramid-y shape, double pyramid sort of bicone beads than I do these two color beads. So these are going to be my limiting factor. So let me see how many of those I have. Also just pull out some more of these guys for doing these things. So I think maybe we'll do like 5 of these, 3 of those, that sort of thing. That might be good. Let's try that, see how it looks. Or 3 of these and then 2 of those. Yeah, let's do 3 and 2. Or 3 and then separate it with 1. No, that's... No, I think I'm gonna go 3 and 3, but I'm gonna bookend the the middles. I think 3 and 3. Yeah. I'm not going to try any of that fancy counting to 5 malarkey. I tried that already. Wasn't I just about messed it all up when I did that. Oh yes, 3 and 3 looks great. And I think this is definitely going to be able to get long enough as we continue to go. A few more of these. One, two, three. Right, and then let's see how that stands up. I think quite possibly I'm going to want to bookend with one of these on each end. Like that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. All right, so I'm going to keep this guy out. I'm going to get this one hooked onto my little hoop. Oh, my there we go. I was not expecting that. That was unexpected for certain. All right, so got that on there. Gonna loop this on here. We're so close to done tonight, guys. And then we'll just pick it up again tomorrow morning. I've already got everything planned out, so we can do just a short recap before we get started, and then get right into making things with our little video. Oof. My dog is at my door making some noises because she misses me. It has been a couple of hours. Maybe I died. She doesn't know. She's got to come and check and make sure that I'm still alive. All right, perfect. You know what? This is going to be perfect. Cut that there. Remember, I was bookending these, so I'm going to add one more of these on this end. And make sure that we are on the right sides of that. Yes. All I need to do is just do a smaller loop on this one, and it'll be long enough, but not longer. So let's go through the thing. Let's do a smaller loop. That's not going to go through that fire polish bead. Smaller loop there. Now going a little bit fast and mangling this just a little bit, but slowing down and trying again means that I can fix that little mangling, and I smoothed out the little rough bits, and it'll still hold. See? Boom. Done. All right, so we have plans for 5 more bracelets just like this in the next video. I have a little bit of extra wire here to snip off. Let me take care of that. That's not. It's not snipping correctly. I can't get to it because the beads are too big. And my end of my snippers isn't snipping. Is this the one? Did I lose it? Okay. You know what? I'm fine with that. Super fine with that. All right. So that is the one that I made with the Soft Flex Turtle Love Kit. This is the one that I made with the Jesse James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box. This is the one that I made with the Dollar Bead Box and Dollar Bead Bag. And this is the one that I made with the Bargain Bead Box we just got. So I'm going to make 5 more of those in the next video, and I hope you will join me then, and I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Talk to you later. Bye!